The views and opinions expressed by the Loft Party podcast panel participants and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the Good Times with Good People company, the host, or its sponsors.
Just not getting it.
Welcome everybody out there in podcast land. The Good Times with Good People company proudly presents the Loft Party podcast, where it is always about good times, good people, and good talk. Now that you've received your invitation, the best way to let us know that you're in attendance is to download the party or become official by joining us on Facebook, subscribing on YouTube, iTunes Podcasts, or Google Play Podcasts. Good. Thanks for joining us. Grab a cocktail, light a cigar, or whatever you like to smoke. Share us with your friends, and make yourself at home. I'm your host and moderator, Rio, and let's introduce today's panel. Hey out there in podcast land, I'm your host, Rio, and welcome to the Loft Party Podcast, episode 82, Articles of Impeachment. There have been articles of impeachment filed against our current president. What are they, and what do we think is going to come of this? And of course, all the other tasty tidbits that come along with. But before we get started, let me introduce today's panel. And I have Big Dave Elliott. He's the owner of CNP Construction. And I have Adrian Lewis, the founder of Path to Vision, a nonprofit empowering our youth. I always say empowering our youth, but and I know you've said it multiple times on the show, but I keep asking you because I keep wanting you to say it to the people in podcast land. Sure. So empowering our youth to
we're exposing them to soft skills training, travel opportunities, and recreational activities like skiing and snowboarding and zip lining, that kind of stuff. And we're teaching them basically how to prepare for failure. So just taking young adults who are transitioning from high school to college to the workforce, and giving them realistic skills beyond just what you learn from college.
Okay. All right. So with that, we've talked about semi-important things. So let's talk about important things. And first thing is, well, what are we drinking? Today we're going back to a podcast classic, and that is the Negroni. Of course, that is 1 ounce of in this case, Rieger gin, 1 ounce of Campari, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, and orange slice. You combine all those ingredients in a rock glass over ice, stir, and of course, that orange slice to garnish. Always a good cocktail, always tasty.
I've actually never had one.
All right, so I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy today's.
I will have to find one of them.
Yeah, I say the Negroni is very tasty, very tasty. So with that means, what are we smoking? And today we're smoking the Arturo Fuente Rosado Sungrown Magnum. Kind of euphemistically called in the industry the Rosado 44. Most people think that it has something to do with the slightly smaller ring gauge on the cigar, but actually 44 it comes from the amount of cigars they pack in a box. So just a tidbit for you out there who enjoy the kind of tidbit knowledge about cigars besides just smoking them. But just to give you a brief kind of description, you've got a fair amount of complexity. What they were trying to achieve with the Rosado Sungrown collection is they were trying to get a kind of a complexity, fuller flavored smoke in a medium-bodied cigar. So something that was between a medium body and like a full Maduro. So you've got a little spicy cinnamon notes. You got some dried fruit, nut, maple notes. Like I say, it's a medium to full body. They classify it as a robusto, but it's really not. It's really kind of not. It's kind of in the middle. So with that, you've got Dominican wrapper and filler. But what really sets this particular smoke off is the wrapper, which is this sun-grown Ecuadorian leaf that's aged for, if I'm not mistaken, 10 years. It's really gives it a really unique flavor and a unique mouthfeel when you're smoking it.
I don't know if all podcasts understands that in a cigar, the major flavor of the cigar is actually the wrapper.
And most of
And if he's really good, he can rhyme. Oh, I'm sorry, that was bad. I apologize.
most of Fuente's stuff is Cuban seed grown in the Dominican, but adding this Ecuadorian wrapper really does give it a hell of a profile, and I enjoy them a lot. And this particular smoke being under $9, usually around $8.50-ish, it makes it really affordable and a good smoke to boot. So that is what we're smoking today. Which brings us to our RIPs. First is a real RIP. For those out there who watched the Cosby Show, Earl Hyman, he passed away at 91. He was Grandpa Huxtable, and that of course, that one of course touched me because I was a avid Cosby Show watcher, and I know
most of us were.
Yeah. I know he's been in other stuff, but what I personally remember him from is being Grandpa Huxtable, and then this one isn't really a rest in peace, but
I gotta call that a SIH.
which is
Suffer in hell, you sorry bastard.
that's kind of what this is. Charles Manson passed away at 83.
Good riddance.
Yeah, got
Sick bastard.
got nothing good to say, but it was definitely a notable passing, so I thought we'd mention
Should have
it.
been notably in a mental hospital long before he set up any commune.
And Della Reese passed away today.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, she
Who was
passed
that?
away.
Della Reese. Okay, so anybody out there in podcast land, like I said, I definitely missed that one. So I hate that I missed that one. But anybody out there in podcast land, she's been in a ton of stuff. But if you watched Harlem Nights, Eddie Murphy's movie Harlem Nights, where it was Eddie, Rich Pryor, and Red Fox.
Yeah.
Also Della Reese and other very notable people in the black comedic community. She was one of the very prominent characters in that movie, and her name just brings a smile to my face because, of course, her favorite scene, my favorite scenes from that movie, a couple of them involve Della Reese. One, she's getting into a physical fight with Eddie Murphy, and she is whooping his ass
all the way.
and he winds up having to pull his pistol out, and she goes, "What? You gonna shoot me?" And he goes, "Look, I'm gonna shoot you in the foot." And she goes, "Oh, here it is. You bad, shoot me." And he winds up shooting her, and I don't think he meant to shoot her, but he thought he was gonna scare her. He wound up actually shooting her in the pinky toe, and of course, her famous line, "You shot me in my pinky toe." That one always sticks with me, and
Classic.
So if you haven't seen Come to America, another classic comedy, but not what we're talking about. If you haven't seen
Harlem
Nights, please go rent that. Do yourself a favor. It's hilarious. Even if it's just to see Arsenio Hall shoot the very little girl.
She acted in a lot of different things.
She was in a lot of stuff. She was on.
I can see her face in my mind.
Yeah, she was on Touched by an Angel.
She was on a lot of different sitcoms and little. Yeah, she did a lot of. She did a lot of acting in a lot of different things. She was pretty popular actor.
Definitely an icon, and she will be missed. With that, we're gonna move from RIPs to birthdays because we never like to end the section on a down note. One out there for all of you who hate all the new rap. Future is 34 today. One thing that a lot of people out there in podcast land may not know about Future. What you may know is he's currently a very popular rapper, and he had a baby with Sierra, which is a very popular singer. But what you may not know about him is that he is second generation Dungeon family. Most people do not know that Rico Wade, who is one of the producers of the original Outkast Goody Mob albums, that production crew that produced them, they're incredible. They actually did TLC's Waterfalls and some other records. He is Rico Wade's like baby cousin or something like that, and was a young man. Well, I shouldn't say young man. He was a kid when all of that classic material was being recorded, and he was there for quite a bit of it. So anybody out there who hates all the new rap, just chew mentally on the fact that he was in the room when all that material was being made, and see if you can wrap your brain around how different he is musically than the original Dungeon Family members, because there's definitely not anything like what his big cousins were doing in Outkast and Goody Mob. So, and then two, Joe Biden is 75 today. So
I may not agree with Uncle Joe,
but
politically. But I'd love to sit down, smoke a cigar, and have a drink with that man. I would love to sit down, smoke a cigar, and have a drink. He just seems like that type of guy you could sit in a bar with, or sit outside on the back porch, and just sit there and tell tales and shoot shit with that man.
Absolutely,
I definitely would like that.
All right. Well, with all that, we'll be right back. Hey. You can search for the Loft Party Podcast on iTunes Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, and on our Good Times with Good People YouTube channel. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, tweet us on Twitter, and if you like the content we provide, donate to us on Patreon. www.patreon.com/Loft Party Podcast. You can find all of our links below. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. And we are back, and before we get too deep, let's play a quick party game. So, today's party games, we got 2 questions. So let me read those to podcast land. And here we go. If you can get rid of any one thing. Now, this could be funny, this could be serious, but if you can get rid of any one thing, what would it be? And the second question is, what would you do in life if you knew you couldn't fail? So,
good questions.
Yeah, so we're going to start with question 1, go all the way around, and then we'll do question 2, and I will start with Big Dave.
Well, I'm having a bit of a feud with one of my builders that I work very hard for. And, it's kind of like every once in a while you got to set them free. and see if they appreciate you or not. And if that man keeps fucking with me, I'm gonna set his ass free. So, that's the one thing I can do without right now.
Okay.
That pain in the ass.
All right, yeah, we can get rid of that one pain in the ass.
So
You would set him free. What about you, Mr. Lewis?
what would I get rid of? Man, I don't know. I guess I'll stay soft and probably just stick with something basic. I'm not a big sushi guy, and I guess I don't want to take that love away from others that do love it. So let me hush on that. I don't know. Maybe racism. You know, it's been a big divider of the nation here this year. Well, over the past few years, and if there was a way to get rid of it, which I don't think there is at this point, it'll always be here in some way, shape, or form. But if there was a way to get rid of it, I can definitely see us being able to collab with all our cultures in a more positive way than we have been lately.
I do agree with you. If I can get rid of one thing, I actually try actively not to answer these questions in my own mind before I get to the table, because I like kind of being in the moment with everybody else.
Stay fresh.
But if there's one thing I can get, I tell you what, if there's one thing I can get rid of is just the feeling of, just physically being tired. And the reason is that, I've got so many things that I would like to accomplish. If you didn't go to a job and put in the time, and then, all the other things that go along with your day, and you weren't as tired, or if you did do all that stuff and you still weren't as tired, you could get more accomplished. And so there are often days that I wish that I weren't as tired as I am at the end of the day or at the end of the week, so that I can do some more. So that brings us to, if you could do one thing in your life and you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do?
I'll surprise you. Because I worked in the oil field as a young man for many years. I have oil stock.
Yeah.
But what I would do is that I would come up with an alternative fuel that was real and that would power all the things we need powered, be it nanotechnology or anything like that, to where we could take the fossil fuels and just use them where we need them.
Okay.
That are, we have so many other products that are made with fossil fuels.
Right. Okay.
Which would make fossil fuels last even that much longer. We have a cleaner world to live in.
Okay.
That you didn't think I'd say.
I did not.
There you go.
I didn't know what you were going to say, but that wasn't it.
Right?
Yeah, how about I say, I didn't know what you were going to say, but I didn't think that was it, though.
Nice.
What do you think, Adrian?
I would, I've had a fascination with wanting to be a musician on the lines of like Lenny Kravitz or Prince. So, and that's just a talent I just don't have. And to see those guys up there and just woo an audience, thousands of people with guitars and just their talent, that's just always something that's been real cool. So if I could actually be like a Lenny Kravitz type or a Prince type musician, all day.
Well, Adrian kind of looks like Lenny Kravitz without any hair.
And they were just
Never thought about it.
I'm looking at him. You guys see it,
I'm looking.
Lenny Kravitz shaved his head off, he kind of looked like Adrian.
Those are just two real cool.
I want to see you
yeah.
They're just
But what's cool about it is I want to see you rocking out like that.
This is not even in my.
Because Lenny Kravitz could rock it out, baby.
You can. You really can.
Yeah, I was listening to some Lenny Kravitz about a week ago, and I was just thinking to myself, I was just like, people forget how good this dude was.
Solid.
This dude was good. Like, and I was listening to another, like,
who's that chick he had drumming for him too?
She
was smoking.
I can never.
I mean, she was smoking.
I can never remember her name. She was a hell of a drummer.
She hell of a drummer, and when the video came on, I didn't watch Lenny. I was checking her out the whole time because she was a beautiful woman. I would definitely, being a younger day, would have liked to have a little fun with that. Of course, I'd be accused of sexual assault nowadays. But
He's great. If anything that I knew that I couldn't fail. I don't know. Honestly, probably just way more practically. And I don't think I could fail at it now, but just getting into good shape. That's just one of those, which is actually another one of those things that I wish that I wasn't as tired, because I would spend some of the time in the gym and just get into better shape. I always admire men and women, for that matter, who have the fortitude to go to the gym regularly and really have themselves in excellent physical condition, because honestly, if you don't have health, you don't have much. So
you just need to start swimming, because then when you get in really good shape and you think you look good enough, you can wear a Speedo.
It is.
He is about the Speedo life.
It is.
Had it all day, man. I got no pride.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I'm not bad at that.
I always got that as my ace in my pocket, man. That's fun to throw out, because ain't nobody know how to deal with that.
Throw that speed.
That's a visual I don't need right
The visual is blinding. When you think I only got one eye, I had to look at myself.
And with that, we'll be right back. Hey out there in podcast land, we would not be doing our duty if we didn't acknowledge the sponsors of the Loft Party Podcast, the Majestic Restaurant and Jazz Club, and the Majestic's Pendergast Club. The Majestic carries on Kansas City's tradition of great food and jazz. Let them show you why they are the classic Kansas City steakhouse experience. 931 Broadway, just 3 blocks from the Kansas City Convention Center. J. Rieger & Company, a Kansas City distillery. Whether whiskey, gin, or vodka, neat or on the rocks, J. Rieger, Kansas City, sipping good since 1887. C&P Construction, Kansas City's premier wood framers. 50 years of quality framing and craftsmanship. Just email david.cnpservice@gmail.com and start building something new today. And our friend and frequent guest, Lane Boland. Thank you all for all that you do.